In today's modern times, primitive man has they have adapted to being really shitty to each other for being, especially if you're nice. If you're nice to people, they tend to treat you like some kind of fucking cretin or apathetic moron for being nice. So I had the sense that they were trying to help homelessness by getting rid of the homeless. Not by helping them, no. By starving them out, by treating them shitty. And I don't know why they expect me to agree with such terms. I'm not a piece of shit. I don't agree with being a piece of shit to people because they're a piece of shit and they want to feel more comfortable being a piece of shit with other pieces of shit. I am not a piece of shit. I do not agree with starving the homeless, doing all this stupid crap that they pitched at me. Like, I don't agree with any of it, and I don't have to. You can't scare me into submission. You can't terrorize me. You can't terrorize Americans. That basically makes you a terrorist. It doesn't matter what religion you are. It makes you a fucking terrorist to scare people into submission with your stupid psychological bullshit. And I never said I was a prophet, but I did say I prophesied about this about 3 or 4 years ago. I said they're going to use psychological bullshit tests to try to scare you into submission. This was about 4 or 5 years ago. 5 years ago. They're going to try to scare you into submission with things that you don't understand to try to lead you into something that you don't necessarily even need. They're going to make you repeat tests over and over and over again because they're not capable of doing them. They are incompetent. They cannot do them because they don't have the sense or the emotion or the love, the attachment of love to even do any of it. So they just make people do it to see if they can learn how to do it by watching someone else, and they can't because they're not capable of it. And I'm not saying that because it's a fact or it's confirmed. That was my experience. So I like to make these little videos so that I can remember a little influx of information that comes into my mind at any given moment. Because if I don't, then I probably won't remember it. And then I try to post videos of the information that is flooded into my mind, and somebody or something stops it and doesn't allow it because they are power hungry, greedy, controlling, belittling. They're power hungry, greedy, unpolitical, un-American, greedy pieces of crap. Let me say that word again: greedy. Greed is not just about money. Greed is not just about money. Sometimes greed is control because they are losing control because they never really had control. They had the illusion of control. If they had control, then they would not have lost control. So to seek control, to always be concerned with getting control, is to be possessed by the want of control. So you become possessed by the want of wanting control. Therefore, you do not have control, nor will you ever have control. But you can go back to having control over things, as far as control, freedom. As far as like there can be too much freedom. Like we decided to get rid of law altogether, and people started eating each other and stealing from each other, killing each other. Because some people are so stupid that they don't have any common human decency. And it has nothing to do with cuss words. Focusing on cuss words is a way that they defocus you from the other terrible stuff that's more important. This is why some of the older folks were like, this generation they're kind of like pussies. They're weak, they're pussies. They get all upset about stupid words, and they get all upset because they've never actually experienced any hardship. Because they're spoiled. The newer generation are mostly spoiled. All they do is sit around and play video games and watch cartoons and things like that. And it's really sad because when the new generation passes on or whatever, the next generation is going to be even worse. So I'm not offering any solution. I just think it's kind of ridiculous that most people know the solution. Most people know the answer. Most people know what to do, but they don't want to do it. Because they're too consumed with commercialism, materialism, looking for instant gratification with money or drugs or sex, or all the basic human instincts are unbalanced in that way. Like well, if I get enough of this and this and this, then I'll be happy. And then they never are happy, because the basic human need is never met, because they've been informed, they've been misinformed, they've been led by false prophets, and they believe it and they accept it because they get this instant gratification. Like the other person said, they get this little rush of dopamine from something that happens. They think because they get that rush of dopamine, that's God. You know, because they're so out of touch with their own souls and their own spirits that they think that little rush of dopamine is like God, you know. I'm not talking about a rush of information or light in your brain that allows you to use parts of your brain that you once were sleeping. Once parts of your brain were completely asleep and didn't work. So anytime they feel threatened by something that is new and different and good, they start labeling it with things that are bad, just to try to limit it or lessen it or get people to be afraid of it so they don't do it. At least that was my experience. That doesn't mean they're still doing it, but if you got to a place in your life where you were like, certain acts of healing that I partook of, that I started trying to do more fervently and more dedicated to it, and things like that, became more real because it started to work. I saw that. Now I don't understand why we learn how to do energy healing and heal different types of healing, and then people become dependent on you as a person. The idea is that you do it and they watch you do it, and then they learn how to do it so that they're not dependent on you. Because every single man, woman, and child in the world is capable of the very things that I'm talking about. Every single man, woman, and child in the world is capable of healing themselves and others. There's no one person that monopolizes and holds the whole thing all to themselves like some kind of greedy Schmeagle. My precious, precious. Sounds good. But anyway, it is really sad that somehow I felt like I gave so much love to this person, and friendship, and just all the good stuff I could muster. Give it all to him, just, you know, circulating through me and in and through me and out and above and below, and just circulating as much healing energy as I could. And then they became dependent, like it was a drug. Like the healing energy that I was giving became like this chemical dependency, because they didn't have it of their own free will, because they have forfeited it for physical chemicals or television, I don't know, buying a nice car, buying a nice house. They felt like that was more important than inner peace. And I'm not saying that's a fact for everybody. I'm just saying that that's kind of what I've observed. That is what I've observed through different things that I went through. And it's not a bad thing, but it is important for those people to wake up and say, well, you know, I can have all this wonderful stuff and all this money and still be happy inside and have inner peace. And then share my inner peace. Oh no, I was making a video. I was making a video about, I was telling myself by this camera, hey Joshua, you're very ugly. You're very ugly. Rotten teeth and a rotten brain. I'm just playing. I love you.